Welcome back to CBS Mornings. Election Day 2022 is just 6 weeks away at this point, and in some states, voters are already casting their ballots. According to the latest CBS Battleground Tracker poll, here's where things stand. Republicans are still very likely to recapture the House of Representatives, but Democrats do have some momentum there. Over on the Senate side, that remains a true toss-up with close races all across the country. So, what should Democrats be focusing on between now and November? Let's talk to an independent about it. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont is here. Senator, good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
I sat down just the other day with Rick Scott, a Republican senator, and he talked a bit about the Republican priorities. They are saluting the flag, learning that America is great, education. They don't want people asking about race or ethnicity on any government forum. That's their second priority. Immigration is 4, crime is 3rd. On immigration, they want to build the wall, and they want to end what they say is immigration without assimilation. That's the Republicans. Where do you think Democrats need to be?
Well, I think what Democrats have to recognize is that right now we are living in a society where the people on top, billionaire class, is doing phenomenally well, and working people are falling further and further behind. So we need an agenda that speaks to the needs of working people. What does that mean? It means that we have got to end the absurdity of being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. Health care is a human right. We pay twice as much per capita on health care because the insurance companies make zillions of dollars every single year. Now, you want to know what we should do? We should have the guts to take on the pharmaceutical industry. Charges us 10 times more for particular drugs than the people of any other country. We should raise the minimum wage to a living wage. We should expand Social Security because half of the elderly people in this country trying to get by on $25,000 a year. You want a strong country? You want a great country? You make sure that every kid, regardless of income, has the opportunity to get a college education, not leave school deeply in debt. That means making public colleges and universities tuition free. And you know what, Tony? Every one of these ideas is enormously popular because we're going to pay for it by telling the billionaire class, who in some cases pay nothing in federal taxes, they're going to have to start paying their fair share.
You don't have majorities to get any of it done at the moment. I guess that's what it's about. One way that wages might go up, and this goes to working people as well, is making college more affordable. There's a controversial move right now from the Biden administration to forgive $400 billion, according to CBO, in student loans. Most people in this country still do not go to college. So that means that's a benefit for a minority of us. And it's controversial. Where do you stand on it?
Well, at a time when the Trump administration gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1% and large corporations, when you have major corporations today, some of the biggest in this country, make billions of dollars a year in profit, don't pay a nickel in taxes, you know what? I think it is appropriate to tell a younger generation that in many ways has a standard of living which is lower than their parents, that we are going to help. What was their crime? They wanted to go to college. I have talked to people, medical school, nursing school, leave school $100,000 in debt. That's insane. So I think we need to help those people. But I think, Tony, the point that we got to get back to, we don't talk about it on TV very much. We don't talk about it in Congress very much. You got 3 people in America who own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. Gap between the very rich and everybody else is growing wider. Maybe, just maybe, we demand that the people on top start paying their fair share of taxes.
I have a question for you about aging, because clearly you have not lost your enthusiasm. And I speak to you as a fellow senior citizen.
There we go.
Somebody told me this morning, Senator Sanders.
Let's get into it.
Well, Gayle, you're a senior citizen. I go, I am? What's the definition of a senior citizen? Anyone over the age of 65. So you're 81, President Biden is 79. And there is a group of younger politicians who say, now is the time to let the younger generation come through.
And most Americans, according to numerous polls, including a CBS poll, say, yes, there should be age limits. And in fact, the older people support age limits more than younger people.
Yeah.
Where are you on that question, Mr. 81-year-old?
Yes.
Excuse me, what did you say?
Exactly.
Look, this is what I think. You can't categorize everybody. You're different than everybody. We're all different. You got to look at the individual. But what I think we do, guys, is we look too much at race, at gender, at age. What does somebody stand for? What are their views? Do you agree with them? Are they standing for you? Or are they standing for the big money interest? And obviously, you want people who are competent, who are capable of the energy. I mean, my God, to be president of the United States requires an enormous amount of energy. But I would say, first of all, take a look at what people stand for. And we don't do that enough. We're too much into personality.
What people stand for and what are their capabilities.
Right.
Listen, I sit here, I can't imagine doing this job at 81 saying, Tony and Nate, do you have my sensible shoes? I can't imagine doing that, but who knows?
Yeah.
But as you sit here at 81 and Joe Biden's 79, do you think he should run again for the presidency?
Well, that's his decision.
I know it's his decision.
Joe is a friend of mine, and I think against enormous opposition, he has tried to do some very, very good things, and he will make that decision himself. But I think, again, and you're not going to hear this much on corporate television, if I may say so. What we need is, Gayle, what we need is
what do
people.
You think?
What do I think? That's his decision. No,
okay,
that's his decision.
All right.
What I think is we need millions of people to start reclaiming their country and demanding an economy that works for all. We have got to deal with the fact oil companies, huge profits, food companies, huge profits, while people can't afford to fill up a tank of gas. So,
do you plan to run again?
That's something, I haven't made that decision. Right now, my focus, and I'll be going around the country, dealing with trying to elect often young progressives, often young people of color, who are prepared to stand up for working families and take on big money interests.
I want to ask you about the
democracy itself.
Me too. Go ahead.
About the January 6th committee. They're having their last hearing this week.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
Tomorrow.
What have you heard that has maybe given you the idea that they could possibly charge former President Trump?
Well, look, one of the saddest things, in politics, I have conservative friends, and I hope people respect each other regardless of their political views.
Of course.
But what we have seen in recent years is a Republican Party move very far to the right, and in many respects no longer believe in democracy. What January 6th was about is essentially an attempt to overturn the United States government and prevent the guy who won the election from taking office.
Not everybody sees it that way.
Well, I know. That's the way I see it. I was in the building at the time.
Some people are using the word
Senator, most voters are worried about democracy for the reasons that you're laying out here. So what can you do as a senator? What's your role in fixing it?
Well, all right. Now, I'm going to give you a different answer than other people do. And my answer is that right now, a lot of people are losing faith in government. If you were a worker out there, and your job went to China, your job went to Mexico, you're making less than you used to make, your kid can't afford to go to college, you can't afford health care, and somebody puts a 30-second ad up on CBS and vote for me. You say, go to hell. You're all the same. You're not doing anything for me. You want to restore democracy? Have a government that works for ordinary people and has the guts. So, by the way, when you talk about politics, you understand that right now billionaires are putting hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into TV ads. So my advice to the viewers, when you see a TV ad, kind of ask yourself which billionaire is funding it and why. What do they want? How many more tax breaks do they want? How much more corporate welfare do they want? Ask that question.
Do you think all billionaires are bad?
No, I don't. But I think when you have enormous, terrible and inequality in America, when you got billionaires buying islands and buying jet planes and we got people sleeping out on the street, I do not believe that is what this country is supposed to be about. So, again, you're not going to hear it much on corporate television. I happen to believe that we need redistribution of wealth in this country. We need to protect the middle class and working class, and the billionaires cannot have it all. That's my view.
This phrase, redistribution of wealth, is not one you hear from other Democrats.
No, you don't. But you know what, Tony? This is an important point. There has been a massive redistribution of wealth in the last 50 years. Did you know that?
I among
it's headed in one direction.
It's gone in the wrong direction. Exactly, Nate. Massive. We're talking about trillions of dollars going into the 1% while the working class and the middle class become poorer. We have to deal with that issue.
I hear what you're saying. Senator Sanders, thank you so much.
Thank you.